cracking, everybody? It's your boy IK, the Infinite King, and we are back for another Destiny 2 video. And this week, your boy's playing catch-up. Had some stuff I had to take care of during the week, so I did miss a couple of articles that dropped for Destiny 2. So we're going to be taking a look at both of those videos today. So this video is going to be thick. It's going to be meaty. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be girthy. So sit back, grab a cold one, grab a loved one, grab a snack. Stay hydrated, because we're going to be getting into all this Destiny 2 news before the Monument of Triumph. Ladies and gentlemen, let's slide in. All right, so we got two articles to look at: the Dev Insights Abilities and Armor Preview, as well as the TWAB or the TWID for this week. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Dev Insights, Abilities, and Armor Preview. Welcome back for our third and final Dev Insight article before Monument of Triumph launches on June 9th. Last Thursday was all about our weapon sandbox, and today we'll be focusing on Guardian abilities, armor, and exotic updates. I need hunters. I need y'all to get hit by 3 buses. Ability sandbox update, new class, subclass abilities. Okay. Ability reworks. I did see some of those videos. Ability balance changes, armor 3.0 updates, armor archetypes, armor set bonuses, exotic armor stats, and exotic armor balance preview. If you missed our previous articles on the Return of the Director, weapons and artifact changes, and all the other news, be sure to check out the articles before next Tuesday, which is when Monument of Triumph, the final Destiny 2 update, goes live. And we do have videos on all of the aforementioned articles, so go ahead and please check those out. Ability Sandbox Update. Hey there, Guardians, gameplay team here with an update on the Ability Sandbox for the upcoming Monument of Triumph release. We've been heads down dreaming up new abilities and refining existing ones, and we've got some juicy changes to talk about today. Let's get right into it. New subclass abilities, new solar and void aspects. For too long, certain subclasses have lagged behind others in the number of aspects available to them. Monument of Triumph will remedy that imbalance with 3 new aspects, bringing every non-prismatic subclass up to 4. First up, Titans. Shouts to my boy Noodle Shoulders. Titan Sunbreaker, Shield Burst. Let's see what we got here. Enhances your equipped barricade with a solar capabilities. Towering barricade. Your barricade slides forward across the ground before stopping, allowing you to advance in safety. Rally barricade. Standing behind your barricade grants scorching rounds to your allies' solar and kinetic weapon. Oh my god. Yo, Chroma Rush? Or Giver's Blessing? With kinetic tremors, and then you have oh my god, scorching rounds on top of that. Oh, this is gonna be nasty. While your barricade is deployed, activate your class ability again to remotely detonate it. Scorching combatants caught in the detonation, dealing damage increases the power of the blast. This ability's damage increases with your class stat when your class stat is at 100 or higher. Oh my god. All right, enhance your equipped barricade with solar capabilities. All right, so we took a look at both of these already. While your barricade is deployed, activate your class ability. Okay, remotely detonate it. All right, let's see real quick. Goes up to the oh, she's just so flying. And then and the rally barricade, and then the scorching rounds. Wow. Yeah, that's sick. Oh, with the ignition? Oh, you can still... Damn, and it does like a wave. Like a grenade, a wave frame grenade launcher. That's sick. All right. The shield burst aspect essentially turns your barricade into a wall of glass with a C4 cartridge strapped to it. It'll charge over time when it takes damage, and when you deal damage while it's active. The more charged up it is, the more damage it'll do, and the more projectiles it'll throw out. Towering and rally barricades have their own unique functionality, and it plays nicely with exotic armor like Arbor Warden, Hollow Fireheart, and Kepri's Horn. That's right, Arbor Warden. Oh shit. This ability's damage is buffed by the Roaring Flames aspect and can create sunspots when paired with Soul Invictus. Damage for this ability also scales with your class stat when your class stat is over 100. Yeah, this is gonna be sick. Titans, Solar Titans. Yeah. They're up. In addition, with the Monument of Triumph, you'll find that other class ability aspects that directly deal damage now scale their damage with the class stat. Note that Warlock Construct damage continues to scale with the grenade stat instead. Okay, cool. All right, next, let's take a look at the new Hunter aspect. Hunter Gunslinger Crackshot. Activate your class ability and to fire up to 3 scorching shots at combatants you've marked. Aim at targets to mark them. Landing all 3 shots cures you. This ability's damage increases with your class stat when your class stat is at 100 or higher. So that's actually not bad. That's a good little kind of like emergency situation, like get out of stuff. Let's take a look. All right, so they're all marked. Boom, boom, boom. And then you get the ignition. Okay. All right. That's cute. I feel like they might have taken some cues from Destiny Rising. I don't know, because there are so many different abilities for characters in Destiny Rising by comparison to D2 that I wonder if this was a byproduct of that. Or, you know, higher ups just holding the devs back the entire time. It could also be that, because I'm pretty sure the devs wanted to give us a whole bunch of stuff that they'll never get to give to us now. So thanks, Sony, and thank you, higher ups, for ruining that for all of us. Thanks. Sincerely, IK. But not sincerely. Crackshot is the ultimate gunslinger fantasy. Mark up to 3 targets, then dodge to quick fire a flaming pistol and light them up with dead-eye precision. If you have a single target marked, it'll fire all 3 shots at them. If you have multiple targets marked, it will split the shots between them. Landing all 3 shots will cure you, providing some breathing room mid-combat. It can also be used while airborne, and damage from this ability scales with your class stat when your class stat is over 100. All right. I feel like it's a cool little thing to kind of take advantage of. Also gives hunters a way to heal up in the middle of stuff. There are some strong exotic armor combos with this one, including Radiant Dance Machines and 6 Coyote. Ooh, and you can combo the Scorch Stacks with other Scorch sources that cause ignitions. It also pairs well with the On Your Mark and Gunpowder Gamble aspects, as Crackshot damage counts towards their progress. Probably not. I don't know if it would count as a target, but I wonder if for Gunpowder Gamble, if you can target the extra... it's like the little gunpowder thing that you throw and you shoot at to blow it up. I wonder if you can target that with the crack shot. I wonder. Be interesting if you could. All right, last but not least, but always last. New Warlock aspect. Warlock Voidwalker Soul Siphon. Ready this aspect by striking a foe with your powered melee ability. Once ready, you press your melee ability to begin siphoning energy from all combatants in front of you, dealing damage and gathering overshield and class ability energy from each target. Soul Siphon's damage is scaled by the enhanced benefit of the melee stat. Oh, yes. Yes, let's take a look. Yes, yes. Cooked them. So it reaches roughly 40 meters ahead. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's about time. It's about time. I know hunters are tight. I know y'all are so tight right now, but y'all had enough for long enough. Y'all will be all right. Soul Siphon turns you into the life-draining vampire mage that you're always meant to be. The Voidwalker's Pocket Singularity melee has 2 charges by default, making the baseline uptime for this aspect high, but building into melee regeneration will make it pay off even more. Building into the melee stat can increase both the uptime and damage of Soul Siphon, and it pairs well with exotic armor like Fellwinter's Helm, Claws of Ahamkara, and Karnstein armlets. The overshield this ability provides allows you to stay in the fight for longer, and it pairs well with the Void aspect to give you higher Devour uptime. Class energy that you gain from draining enemies also pairs well with the Child of the Old Gods aspect. Yeah, let me get that. New Darkness Grenades. Stasis and Strand are near and dear to our hearts, and they deserve some love. While we're adding 2 new grenades to the game with the Monument of Triumph. Stasis Shatter Grenade. A grenade that sticks to combatants before exploding into razor-sharp stasis shrapnel. The shrapnel ricochets off surfaces, dealing damage to all in its path. Hitting a frozen target shatters it instantly and deals bonus damage. All right. So... if y'all have ever played Sonic the Hedgehog 2, it was an enemy that would like appear and shoot out little needles everywhere. Oh, damn. Ooh, and you get stasis shards. Yeah, that's pretty sick. That'll work well with some of the Warlock stuff, some of the Warlock aspects that you can use. That's pretty sick. The Shatter Grenade's primary function is dealing damage through direct hits will freeze combatants and slow enemy players. It's more effective in enclosed spaces where the shrapnel can bounce around multiple times to shred targets, but it's also effective against loosely grouped enemies. If you throw it at an enemy who's already frozen, it'll explode immediately and deal extra damage. Nice. Hunter Revenant enjoyers will be happy to hear that the Touch of Winter aspect also has a unique interaction with this grenade. Okay, see, there you go. They get a little bit of stuff. On a related note, while a while back we changed stasis shatter damage to stun overload champions instead of unstoppable champions, we're reverting that change in Monument of Triumph. So stasis shatter will again stun unstoppables instead of overloads. As the shatter grenade's name implies, it'll stun unstoppable champions immediately on detonation. Okay. Strand Slice Wire Grenade. A grenade that bounces and releases multiple whirling threads, severing targets. Interesting. I want to see this. Okay. I mean, I feel that was the least interesting out of everything so far, I feel like, in my opinion. But the Strand Slice Wire Grenade is a damage dealer first and foremost. Okay. It also severs targets, lowering their damage output. After being thrown, the grenade bounces along the ground, unleashing coil strands that whip around, striking enemies up to 4 times. The damage can really pile up if you're able to land all 4 lashes on a group of enemies. This grenade also has a unique functionality when paired with the Warlock Broodweaver's Mindspun Invocation aspect, which will let you discover on your own. Yeah. Because you can do a lot of nonsense with Mindspun Invocation aspect. That can be just, you can make everything green, basically. You'll just have a whole bunch of green shit just all over the place. It'll be great. Go green, Guardians. New Night Stalker melee. Through countless battles, Night Stalkers have known Smoke Bomb as their only melee option. Yeah. And that's about to change. Can you nerf it though? Can you nerf the Smoke Bomb? Hunter Night Stalker, Phantom Surge. Dash forward, slashing combatants as you pass through them. Deal significantly increased damage to void debuff targets or targets marked by On the Prowl. Generate void overshield for each combatant hit. Defeating at least one combatant grants additional overshield and refunds melee ability energy. Damn. All right. So you can, I feel like that would be pretty useful just in general. It's for movement, consistently staying in the fight. Let's take a look. Boom. This is a pretty sick animation too. Dodge. Yeah, the overshield. Yeah. All right. That's pretty sick. I feel like Hunter, like they're gonna complain, but I mean, y'all got stuff. Like, you're fine. Phantom Surge ushers in a new age. Although, to be completely honest with y'all, Titans and Warlock got some nice shit this time. It's about time. Phantom Surge ushers in a new age of Night Stalker. I'm sorry, Hunters. Whereas tossing a smoke bomb is, no, I'm not sorry. Tossing a smoke bomb is a relatively passive action. Phantom Surge asks a Night Stalker to cut straight through their enemies, emerging stronger on the other side. The overshield you gain, this is pretty cool though. The overshield you gain from hitting enemies is substantial, and our brilliant engineering team created a new tech for this ability that enables you to phase straight through enemy units. Yo, shouts to the devs, man. Having to work with the Tiger engine for this long, I can't imagine. The damage is increased versus void debuff targets, giving a strong combo potential with other abilities and weapons. So I'm interested to see what combos will come out of that. Also, this armor is... What's going on with this armor here? This armor is kind of sexy. Like, hello? What armor is that? I want that. Look at this. Is that a zipper? Is this some freaking Kingdom Hearts shit? I see zippers and chains. They got the... They got the Organization 13 fit? Oh, shit. While it's easy to dote on the new abilities, let's not forget the classic. Smoke Bomb is getting some love too. No, don't. Just take it away. It now makes you and other allies invisible by default on deployment. No vanishing step required. Other elements of the Night Stalker kit are also being reworked, some of which we'll talk about in the next section. Ability reworks. We've reworked a few abilities to make them fit better in their kits or enhance them in general. Let's talk about the Hunter's Trapper's Ambush aspect first. Hunter Night Stalker, Trapper's Ambush. Activate your air move to consume your class ability energy and dive to the ground, damaging targets on impact. Damage is greatly increased if striking while you have any positive void status effect. Damaging enemies with this ability heals you, and defeating combatants with this ability grants Devour. Damaging enemies with this ability heals you, and defeating combatants with this ability grants Devour. Again, my mind goes to PvP. In PvE, this is sick. This is dope. It incentivizes you jumping around like a crackhead and, you know, dive bombing. PvP? Alright. Night Stalker previously had several ways to go invisible. but not many ways to capitalize on invisibility. That's bullshit. Trapper's Ambush is now a substantial damage dealer, and that damage is increased if you cast it while invisible or under the effect of another void buff. Casting it while invisible will refresh your invisibility when you hit the ground, and it retains its previous smoke cloud behavior when paired with the Vanishing Step aspect. Trapper's Ambush now uses class ability energy instead of melee energy, and thus activates class ability perks like Marksman Dodge and Gambler's Dodge. So y'all can dive bomb instead of dodging. This enables you to combo with the new Phantom Surge melee in creative ways. Finally, defeating enemies with Trapper's Ambush grants Devour, giving the Night Stalker more survivability than ever before. It also has y'all still find a way to complain. It also has a new animation, new VFX, and features a Void Blade instead of a Smoke Bomb. Congratulations, happy for y'all. All right, let's see it. I mean, it's cool. You know, it's alright. I don't want to hear Jack Diddle, though. Like, yep, man. All right, a big change for Titans coming up next. Titans, I saw this. Titan Sentinel, Ward of Dawn. Create a large protective dome around you and your allies. While inside the bubble, allies gain Void Overshield and increased weapon damage, while targets inside the ward are weakened. The ward's owner also gains increased melee damage while inside and can pick up and throw the ward's core to reposition the ward up to 2 times. Titans are eating. Titans are absolutely eating. All right. And they get sucked in. They get the suck. Grab it. Hey. Get sucked in. Getting debuffed. Bye-bye. Oh no, where'd they go? Oh no. Here I go. I'm going to sort again. There it is. 3 times for the 3 times. This is so sick. You're gonna get a lot of people killed in like damage rotations on things, but this is so sick. Ward of Dawn is now a giant thunder dome you fight inside. Of. At more than twice its previous size, yeah, it is way bigger. This new bubble is the Sentinel's domain, expanding their sphere of influence on the battlefield. You and your allies are buffed both offensively and defensively inside, while your enemies are debuffed, giving you a huge advantage in a wide range of combat scenarios. Once you've bested your enemies inside the bubble, simply pick up the core and throw it somewhere else to reposition the Thunderdome. I love that they're calling it that. On deployment, nearby enemies are pulled into the dome, getting the suck. Base combatants are taunted by the players inside. The Helm of Save 14 exotic armor has also been reworked to extend the time that the Ward of Dawn lives and allows you and your allies to take weapons of light outside the dome. In the Crucible, make sure to protect the ward's core as it serves as the ward's weak point. The new bubble holds a couple of other secrets, but will let you discover those on your own. I'm hype. I might have to actually like use my Titan. For our final highlighted ability rework, let's look at the Warlock. Warlock Broodweaver, Mindspun Invocation, Threadling Grenade. Hold the grenade input to charge your Threadling Grenade, causing it to weave a Threadling nest at the impact location. Oh, that's the it repeatedly spawns Threadlings. Yeah, this is the heavy exotic. Something Luzaku. This is what Luzaku, that weapon would do. Yeah. And you get Threadlings. You throw that, you pop a rift, and you have Threadlings coming out the rift, and out of that, it's just, oh man, it's about to get green in here. The Mindspun Invocation aspect currently causes Threadling grenades to create perched Threadlings, but starting in the Monument of Triumph release, this aspect will cause you to charge Threadling grenades to spawn a Threadling nest in the world. This essentially allows you to weave a Threadling turret on the battlefield that gives you an additional angle of attack. This nest also interacts with the Service of Luzaku, there it is, exotic machine gun, to enhance its productivity. Yeah, so you could just have a ton, right? Like if you have cracked out grenades that fighting people, keep getting your grenade up, you can throw these nests around. You have Service of Luzaku working for you as well. You could just have nests everywhere. You got a couple of Warlocks in there. Just green everywhere. Disgusting. Stasis, harvest aspects. The 3 stasis harvest aspects, Tectonic Harvest, Grim Harvest, and Glacial Harvest, needed some love, so we reworked them. We've also reworked Frost Armor and the way stasis subclasses create Shatter Shards. Shatter Shards. All stasis subclasses now create Shatter Shards intrinsically. Shatter Shards are created when a stasis guardian shatters a stasis crystal or a frozen enemy, or when they defeat a slowed or frozen enemy. Harvest Aspects. Harvest Aspects give you frost armor when you pick up a Shatter Shield, or Shatter Shard, sorry. While you have frost armor, defeating an enemy with a stasis or kinetic weapon has a chance to shatter the enemy, dealing damage around the shattered enemy. While you have frost armor, taking damage now grants ability energy. Ooh, Titan melee energy, Warlock grenade energy, and Hunter class ability energy. Interesting. Reduce fragment slots from 3 to 2. Oh. Frost armor. Frost armor stacks now melt off one at a time instead of all at once. That's dope. Each stack now gives slightly more damage resistance. Damage resistance at 5 stacks is increased by roughly 31% to 35. So a small buff there. And damage resistance, nothing crazy though. When using a stasis subclass, you can now create shatter shards without equipping the harvest aspects. The harvest aspects will continue to give frost armor when you pick up a stasis shard and grant a powerful benefit while you have frost armor. Meanwhile, the frost armor stacks now fall off one at a time. One stack falls off every 5 seconds by default, or every 6 seconds with Whisper of Rhyme, allowing for much higher frost armor uptime. All right. So, I mean, overall, some pretty good stuff, right? Hunters have the new melee ability for the Void, which is, I think it is pretty cool. I feel like Hunters, like all joking aside, it's really fun to play as a Hunter in PvE when you have just things kind of like working out for you. Like, oh my god, I'm blanking on the name, but there's the helmet for Arc that basically gives you like the melee, and you can heal yourself and you just keep dodging and punching and healing. Like, it's a fun loop. It's a fun loop. And forgive me, I can't remember the name. It's been a long ass time since I played Hunter, but is it Assassin's Cowl? But I mean, they do have really fun play loops. I think the Void stuff is going to be really fun too, especially because it grants the overshield. So there's stuff that you can do, especially with the invisibility. I do think that there will be very fun play loops, especially now, like specifically with Titans and the solar stuff, including the Warlocks with the strand stuff. I think it's just going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. Onslaught is going to be very fun. I really do believe that Onslaught is going to be a very fun mode now, especially with all these reworks to some of these abilities and the aspects. Yeah, good time. All right. Ability balance changes. Alongside the new abilities and reworks, we've packed a ton of other ability balance changes into this release. If we talked in depth about all of them, we'd be here all day. Not to mention that we have a TWID coming later after this, so we'll just list them below. We're going to omit some minor changes to avoid bogging down the blog, instead listing only the substantial changes. It's mostly buffs, but there are some nerfs sprinkled in as well to keep things balanced. Look for the full list of patch notes when Mighty Myth of Triumph launches on June 9th. Not 100% sure yet. I will try to see if I can stream Mighty Myth of Triumph. Just see if we can get in there. You know what I'm saying? Just check out some of the new abilities, see what that looks like in action. Maybe do some PvP, do a couple of Crucible matches, see if any of the homies will join. We might do that. That might be my first stream back in a very long time. We'll see. Warlock, Dawnblade, Heat Rises aspect. While Heat Rises is active, it now reduces the accuracy of combatant attacks versus the Warlock in PvE only. Okay, good. Heat Rises, look, listen, as much as I shit on Hunters, like flying Warlocks, especially with Heat Rises, are annoying as hell. Heat Rises no longer decreases the initial burst of speed provided by activating Burst Glide. Oh, I'm gonna be fast, boy. Icarus Dash aspect. Increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. Okay. Stormcaller, Chain Lightning, Melee. Increased damage versus combatants by 100%. Now has 2 ability charges by default. Pretty sick. Lightning Surge aspect. Increased fragment slots from 2 to 3. Nice. Voidwalker, Child of the Old Gods aspect. Now suppresses combatants for a short time after initial attach. Increase the child's max speed and acceleration by 100%. Increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. So, zoom in. Nova Bomb, Cataclysm, Super. Allied projectiles now pass through the Nova Bomb projectile instead of colliding with it. Nice. Shadebinder, Frost Pulse aspect. Now grants 5 stacks of frost armor if this ability freezes a target. Ooh, man, in PvP, you just hang by a doorway, somebody turns the corner, just gets frozen. You hit them with an icebreaker shot, you cause a shatter machine, and you get frost armor after that. Oh, increased fragment slots from 2 to 3. Nice. Broodweaver, the Wanderer aspect. Threadlink final blows now reduce your tangle cooldown by 1 second. For Titans, Sentinel, Offensive Bulwark aspect. While the player has a Void Overshield, final blows now grant melee ability energy. Oh. Huh. You just toss that shield. Captain America all over the place. Unbreakable aspect. Final blows with Unbreakable's blast now grant Devour. Ooh. Slightly increase the size of Unbreakable's blast. Nice. Is that the I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to shut my face. Bastion aspect, increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. Shield bash melee, increase damage versus combatants by 100%. Nice. Striker, thruster class can now be active. They gave y'all Twilight Garrison. Y'all got Twilight Garrison back. Oh. Congrats. Congratulations, Titans. Congratulations. Y'all got it back. Wow. Knockout aspect no longer grants a lunge range increase versus enemy players. Note, this change should reduce some awkward rubber banding and cruise. Yeah, melee battles. Thank you. Touch of Thunder. And the Thunder aspect. Lightning Grenade now grants 5 stacks of bolt charge per hit. Ooh. Flashbang Grenade. Now explodes on initial bounce in addition to its existing detonation. Wow. Storm Grenade. Increase storm duration by 0.5 seconds. Increase maximum tracking speed versus combatants by 38%. Oh, no. Increase time to reach max tracking speed by 25. Wow. All right. Seismic Strike. Melee. Increase damage versus combatants by 100%. Is that also players? Do players count as combatants? Sunbreaker. Hammer Strike. Melee. Increase damage versus combatants by 100%. Nice. Behemoth. Diamond Lance aspect. Reduce size of freeze detonation from thrown Diamond Lance versus players. Thank you. Cryoclasm aspect. Sliding while you have frost armor now launches a stasis wave that shatters stasis crystals and frozen enemies in front of you. That's pretty sick. Glacial Quake super. Ooh, this with Salvation's Grippy? It's just got shards and then you could just you get me. Oh, there's some stuff. Glacial Quake super heavy attack now deal additional damage in the area in front of the Titan. Berserker, Dranger's Lash aspect. Defeating elementally debuff targets now grants class ability energy. Increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. The suspending waves impact damage now scales with your class stat when your class stat is above 100. For Hunters, Night Stalker, On the Prowl aspect. In addition to acquiring a target when you become invisible, you will now passively acquire a target after a short time if you're not invisible. Sure, why not? This passive acquisition does not occur against enemy guardians. Suckers. Mobius Quiver super. Reduce maximum Mobius Quiver buff to crossbow weapons by 50%. Huh. Was that necessary? I don't think that was necessary. I don't think that was necessary. Crossbow weapons. What was the buff that y'all would get? Huh. Gunslinger. Acrobat's Dodge class ability can now be activated while air... Excuse me? What? Y'all can activate this while air... Oh, man. All right. Again, my mind goes to the Crucible, and y'all are just going to be flipping and dipping all over the place. Proximity Explosive Knife melee. Increase detonation size from 5 to 6 meters. Increase detonation damage by 11%. Why not? On your mark aspect now grants solar restoration ×1 for 3 seconds instead of cure after final blows at 10 stacks. Knock them down aspect now grants cure on super activation. That's not bad. That's good for PvE. Blade Barrage super. Increased knife projectile speed and tracking. Didn't need that. Increased knife detonation size from 3 to 4. Maybe in PvE it did. Increased knife detonation size from 3 to 4.25 meters. Increased knife detonation damage by 10%. Knife detonations now scorch enemies. Great. Golden Gun Deadshot super. Reduce super energy gain from player kills by 40%. Good. Good. Arc Strider Arc Staff super. Now grants bolt charge stacks on kill. Lethal current. That's nice. That's actually, yeah, that's dope. That'll be good for PvE. Lethal Current aspect now jolts and creates an aftershock when used with Tempest Strike. Can now be activated while in super. Oh, I got to check that out. Believe it or not, there was once a time where I did main a Hunter. Very long time ago. I'm always going to be a Warlock main, but I dabbled for a while in playing as a Warlock. I mean, as a Hunter. So... yeah, this will be fun. Ascension aspect. Ascension detonation damage now scales with your class stat. I'm not proud of it though. Scales with your class stat when your class stat is above 100%. Now counts as a class ability for all perks and abilities. Nice. Thread Runner. Rope Dart melee. Successfully catching the Rope Dart now grants woven mail based on the number of targets it defeated. Okay. Widow Silk aspect. Increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. Threaded Spectre aspect. The Spectre's detonation damage now scales with your class stat when your class stat is above 100. And Snaring Slam now counts as a class ability for all perks and abilities. Okay, Revenant, Shatter Dive aspect, increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. Winter's Shroud aspect, increase fragment slots from 2 to 3. So, I mean, y'all are getting stuff. So many Hunters were complaining, but I feel like y'all got to pay attention to this stuff too. Like, you're getting increased fragment slots. You can mix and match stuff. General abilities, Grenade, Lightning Grenade, increase detonation damage by 25%. Scatter grenades reduce chase distance versus players by 50%. Reduce the amount of grenade energy this ability gains from perks by 12.5%. Grapple grenades against boss combatants reduce max grapple melee damage bonus granted by grenade stat by 50. Wow, really? Well, against boss. But it's bosses. Like, were we really doing that much damage against boss combatants? Damage bonus granted by grenade stat and melee stat is now additive instead of multiplicative. Was that necessary? Multi-charge abilities. In PvP only, when the match begins, multi-charge abilities now start with one charge instead of all charges. This makes me a little sad for Osmiomancy Warlocks. Makes me a little sad. Stasis, Whisper of Rhyme, Fragment, Max Frost armor stacks reduced from 8 to 7. Note, damage resistance has been rescaled to provide the same max benefit. Arc, Spark of Shock, Fragment. When Jolt is applied via an Arc Soul or an Ionic Sentry, there is now a 4-second internal cooldown before applying Jolt again via these constructs. Did we need that? Void, Invisibility, status effect. Made Void Invisibility more visible in the Crucible. Y'all should have also increased the cooldown time on smokes in the Crucible. Volatile round, status effect. Now increases weapon damage versus champions by 10%. Okay. Weapon damage with volatile rounds no longer stuns barrier champions. No, weapon archetypes now govern weapon-based champion stuns. See last week's Dev Insight article for more information. Yeah, so basically, weapons will show you what champion they are effective against now, and it's based on specific weapon archetypes. So we did a video on that. Go ahead and check that out. Solar, Radiant status effect. Increase weapon damage versus champions by 10%. Weapon damage while Radiant no longer stuns barrier champions. Same thing. Check out the weapon to see what type of champion they can fight against. Prismatic, Facet of Dominance Fragment. When Jolt is applied via an Arc Soul, there is now a 4-second internal cooldown for applying Jolt against. Okay, via the construct. All right, it's the same thing as Arc. Ability stats. Reduce maximum passive ability cooldown bonus granted by ability stats by roughly 20%. Reduce maximum active ability cooldown bonus granted by ability stats from 190 to 125. Regarding this change to ability sets, we feel Destiny Combat is leaning slightly too far in favor of using abilities to resolve encounters, and we'd like to shift it in further in favor of using weapons. This reduction in ability uptime is paired with a general increase to primary and special weapon damage that we've detailed in last week's article about weapon changes. The floor for ability uptime remains where it is in the live game, but the ceiling has been brought down to avoid highly optimized builds from trivializing combat. Abilities remain incredibly potent and powerful, especially with the new and adjusted abilities detailed above. Another change we want to provide some context for is this. Supers, reduce super energy generation from dealing damage to bosses by 60%. Wow. With the changes to super generation, the super stat, and the Edge of Fate, the boss damage meta shifted into super spam. It became possible to cast more than 6 supers in a single boss damage phase, which isn't the place we want supers to live. These weapons better bust. We worked with our internal raid and dungeon test group to refine super generation to a healthier place. Supers remain incredibly effective for boss damage, but Guardians will now need to think more about their weapons and their abilities to make the most of a damage phase. I really want to see DP. I want to see how this affects DP. I'm very curious. That represents most of the ability changes coming in this release. There are some other minor tuning adjustments and bug fixes that we omitted for the sake of brevity, but you'll find those in the patch notes when the Monument of Triumph launches. We might do like a patch note reading and then get into the actual update on that day. We might do that. Armor 3.0 updates. Ever since the release of Armor 3.0 system rework, we've seen increased variety in how players make their builds and leverage stats. However, there were always a couple of things that felt missing from the full picture. It's about time we fit those missing pieces in with the Monument of Triumph. Armor archetypes. Our general goals for armor archetypes are as follows. Armor archetypes should help you understand and communicate your build crafting options with stats. Each of the 6 stats should be equally represented. Armor archetypes should support as many builds as possible. There should be as few armor archetypes as possible. Adding too many bloats the amount of armor you may want to keep in your vault and the size of your random roll pool, on top of making it harder to learn, understand, and communicate the stats for a build. No single armor archetype should dominate the build crafting space across the game. That's fair. We expect that the nature of the stat means that some archetypes will be more popular in specific types of activities. This is more about not making a best armor archetype for all non-crucible activities or vice versa. We think that the original 6 archetypes have fulfilled these goals admirably. However, certain builds require significantly more tools to get the stats that they need. Since this doesn't usually limit the power of the build, but instead primarily limits build variety, we plan on addressing this by adding 6 new armor archetypes. Click on each for a sample armor. Siegebreaker. Primary stat, health. Secondary stat, grenade. Skirmisher. Cryosting gauntlets, so the Europa set, I believe. After being out of combat for an extended period of time, your next found blow grants additional ammo progress and creates an orb of power. But they'll probably get into like what each of these does, though, I would assume, right? No. All right. So it's being blocked, but 2 pieces wish fulfilled when the protective wish expires. Protective wish. All right, yeah. So some of the stuff is blocked. You're just gonna have to get the armor pieces to actually see what they do. So we got Siegebreaker, Skirmisher, Demolitionist, Colossus, Reaver, and Powerhouse. Our goal is that despite exciting options for those that want them, looking at you, Powerhouse, your current builds won't be so outclassed that you'll feel like you must replace the roles you already have to be effective. But if you want to experiment with new builds or further fine-tune your stats, there are more options to build the distribution that you want. All right, so, I mean, something to keep in mind when you are farming for armor, these are the 2 stats that you're going to be looking at for each of these different archetypes. So for example, like the Powerhouse, this looks like the Traveler set. So whenever you get armor from that location, the primary stats that you're going to see highlighted in that particular set of armor is going to be weapons and super. So if that's what you want to build into, you're going to have to farm that location for that. So blanking on the location. Why am I doing that? Okay, so before we move on, we wanted to tackle a few questions we're expecting from our build crafters out there. Will the new archetypes be available on all armor? Almost any new Armor 3.0 drop from anywhere in the game can drop with the new archetypes. The only exceptions are the exotic class items, which will keep their existing stat roll behavior. What about the missing stat combinations? Aren't there possible 30 archetypes? As mentioned above, we want to avoid bloating the pool and making a clear best choice for all the Crucible or PvE, and we want to keep each stat equally represented. We believe this is the right number and combination of archetypes to introduce to fit those goals, especially when combined with armor mods and subclass bonuses. Not counting mirrors, there will only be 3 armor stat pairs that are not available. I feel like this was probably going to be something that they were going to expand on, but they just didn't have the time. Is it going to be harder to grind armor? No, with the combination of the 6 new archetypes and the sheer number of armor set bonuses available, it made sense to give the armor mods on your ghost a boost. Each one will now improve the odds of your chosen archetype dropping to 1 in 2, previously 1 in 3. Wow, so 50% chance. In combination with a large number of ways to get the stat combinations you want, we believe this will make it significantly easier to get the stats you need for your build. Now let's talk exotic armor stats. Exotic armor stats. When we originally released Armor 3.0, we had longer term plans to give exotic armor a way to access higher tier behavior. But Sony chopped your legs off. So originally we planned to give them a deterministic route for upgrading. However, we've ultimately realized that it was healthier for the games to take the most straightforward approach. Moving forward, all exotic armor will have tier 5 stats and will have access to all tuning mods. This applies retroactively to all Armor 3.0 exotics other than collection rolls. So if you don't want to trade your armor out for one of the new archetypes, you don't have to acquire them again. Okay. Armor set bonuses. As they've settled into the sandbox, we've seen Guardians leverage armor set bonuses in a lot of different ways. Overall, we're happy with how they fit into their role as a more flexible element of build crafting across the game. However, there's a couple of things that we felt that we should address. First, there's a 2 set bonus perks that were big enough outliers that they needed balance adjustments. Ride Together, Die Together, Smoke Jumper 2-piece set perk. Decrease the maximum damage resistance granted from 50 to 40. While the rapid decay nature of this damage resistance means that it can provide high bonuses without being a problem, the easy availability of Orbs of Power combined with stacking other damage resist resources makes this set more valuable when mixed and matched than we'd like. We believe this adjustment hits a sweet spot where its skill is still potent, but not a must pick for all content. I mean, it's a 10% drop in damage resistance. It shouldn't be that consequential. Superliminal Motion, Wayward Psych 4-piece set perk. Increase the health granted while moving from 15 to 30 health per second outside of the Crucible. The power of the Wayward Psych set bonus falls short of our goals, what a raid armor set bonus should feel like, especially in the Epic Desert Perpetual, so we've doubled its effective healing. Okay, perk behavior is unchanged in PvP. The second issue is simultaneously more straightforward and harder to solve. The current available list of set bonuses, while often fun to build craft with, can sometimes feel like they provide very few options. Many builds, even for Guardians seeking something outside the standard setups, end up not having enough options to pick from, instead defaulting to a small number of 2-piece set bonus combinations. Yeah, the solution is simple. As we previously noted, we're refreshing a massive amount of gear across the game. That includes more set bonuses than we've previously made compressed into a single release. We don't expect these to fully replace existing options, which will still be available to earn, but you can look forward to a wide array of options, from elemental effects, ability synergies, and survivability to explosions, movement, and echoes of armor mods past. There's something for everyone to whet your appetite. In addition to some sets we've already announced, let's preview a pair of destination armor sets. Armor set. Exodus Dawn. 2-piece perk. Emergency electromagnet. When your shields become broken, collect all nearby orbs of power and ammo bricks. 4-piece perk. Repurpose charge. Whenever you gain, lose, or spend an armor charge, heal and gain damage reduction for a short time. Wow. That's not bad. All right. Armor set. Veritas. Throne World. 2-piece bonus. Lucent Transmutation. Performing a finisher on a combatant or landing successive powered melee final blows generates an elemental pickup based on your light subclass. Lucent Tithes. Performing a this is a 4-piece perk. Performing a finisher on powerful combatants heals you and generates loyal Void Moth. Wow. So you can combine that with the Hunter Moth, and then you could and it heals you on top. Yeah, with the Void. Oh, with the overshit. Nah, see, look, Hunters, I don't want to hear a damn thing. You get it. Look, Hunters, for PvE, y'all want to, here's the meta. I'm telling you right now. You ready? I don't even play Hunter. You get this, Veritas, right? You get yourself the Veritas set. Then you get the, I forget the name of them, the Moth arms, the exotic arm pieces. So you make the Moth, okay? Then, right, you get the 4-piece with a biscuit, and then you got, look, man, you do some finishers, you heal you grant a Void Moth on top of the Void Moth that you already got from the, man, on top of the melee? I'm pretty sure you can do that. You can apply that melee with all this other stuff. I'm pretty sure you can do all that. Well, come on. Before we move on, we've seen one question coming up since our Monument of Triumph reveal that we'd like to address. Will the Armor 3.0 versions of Raid Armor still have access to Raid mods? No, Raid mods are a feature exclusive to Armor 2.0 due to technical limitations. However, since we know certain raid mods can sometimes be more valuable than a set bonus in specific situations, Armor 2.0 for all available raids will be focusable at Hawthorne for 10 spoils of conquest each. Interesting. We hope that the new set bonuses tied to each raid activity provide meaningful benefits that give you a fun choice in picking between combinations of Armor 2.0 and Armor 3.0. So again, I feel like this might have been something that they were planning to, they might have just had to leave something like this on the table because they might just not have had enough time to do what they wanted. So yeah, so mix and match. Might make more sense to keep some things for the raid mods, but we'll see. Exotic armor balance preview. Alongside the above ability armor changes, we took some time to update a handful of exotics from each class, spanning multiple years of Destiny 2 releases. Some have straightforward changes that lean into the fantasy, while others are being reworked. Let's dive in. Before we do, though, stay hydrated, my beloveds. Hunter exotics. Wormhusk Crown. At one point, Wormhusk was a genuine scourge upon PvP. Hunters still are. But within the modern sandbox, it has fallen by the wayside, especially in PvE, where it has always struggled. So we're giving it a facelift with some build crafting hooks. This also comes with an update to Spirit of Wormhusk to match these changes. Reworked effect. Solar multi-kills grant burning souls, while active solar ability damages increase and dodging greatly cures the player and nearby allies. That's pretty dope. Shards of Galanor. We looked at all the classes' capabilities when it came to super damage output with exotics. Since Hunter has fewer options than the other classes, we figured it was worth adding another. It's no Celestial Knifehawk, but we figure embedding large solar bombs in your foes is a close second. Landing 5 out of the 7 knives in a volley during a super causes a delayed solar explosion and releases solar shrapnel. This can happen with each volley of super knives. Landing both explosions is approximately comparable to Curious Thunder Crash. Oh my god. Wow. Caliban's Hand. I mean, allegedly, because they said that the Void Strand super was supposed to be comparable to that. Caliban's Hand. Caliban's has proven a strong option for the prismatic class item, but has largely fallen behind on the base exotic. To help, we are leaning further into what it does best, letting you chain proximity knives with ignitions. Increase the melee recharge bonus by 25%. Dealing damage with Scorch now refunds a small amount of melee energy. Ignition final blows fully refund knife energy and can overflow into additional charge. That'll be really good for PvE. That should be fun for PvE. Frosties. Frosties have been begging for a buff for some time. No, they haven't. What better way to do it? Y'all don't need more movement shit. Better way to do it than finally looping into stasis build crafting. Oh, God. Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming. Cue Jade Cardgill's music. Gain stacks of frost armor while sprinting. When you have frost armor, stasis weapons deal increased damage. All right. I think that's fair. That makes sense. Leaning more into like the fantasy of it. All right, I see it. I see it. Shinobu's Vow. Shinobu's Vow has not seen much PvE play over the years. With the introduction of Bolt Charge to the game and its popularity in other builds, this particular exotic seemed like a good candidate for opening up some new gameplay for hunters. The changes we've made here are similar to those made recently to Lucky Raspberry, hooking in its existing loop to more recent gameplay atoms, plus a bit of extra support play. Now gain Skip Grenade energy whenever you gain stacks of Bolt Charge. Skip Grenade damage now grants Bolt Charge. When you gain full Bolt Charge, you heal yourself and nearby allies and enable an enhanced Skip Grenade. Enhanced Skip Grenades bounce 2 additional times before detonating, releasing bonus Skip Seekers per bounce. Okay. Interesting. Raid and Flux. Roaming supers have long felt a bit rough to use in champion-heavy content. These changes to Raid and Flux allow you to use it as a potent anti-overload option and rewarding opting into the combo finisher. Arc Staff now hits jolts targets. We said that before. Combo finisher Palm Blast now gets 1.5 times the base exotic's damage bonus and reports as a critical damage yellow numbers. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Raid and Flux finally getting a little love. Mothkeeper's Wraps. That's the one. All right. Look. All right, let's see if they address it. In order to encourage more diverse build crafting with Mothkeepers, we've opted to turn it into a conditional grenade override, similar to Gunpowder Gamble. Oh, this allows the use of your base grenade in addition to moth grenades without lowering the downtime of moth grenades compared to the current high uptime builds in the live game, which also means increased uptime if you weren't invested into grenade generation. Mothkeeper's Wraps now provides moth grenades as a conditional override instead of a complete override. Getting kills from any source increments a counter. The amount added to the counter per kill depends on the rank of the enemy killed. Once the counter reaches 6, you gain 2 moth grenade charges until they are used. All current functionality and synergies with moth grenades remain the same. For example, arc moths still bind. Having your grenade stat over 100 still increases their damage. They still synergize with subclass fragments, etc. Increase the movement speed of arc moths by roughly 43% and void moths by roughly 25%. Both moths from the same grenade will now attempt to target separate enemies, allies if possible. So if my brain is working, Mothkeeper's Wraps, right? You do that with this. And then you the 4-piece, right? 4-piece and biscuit, loosen ties, performing a finisher on a powerful combatant, heals you and generates loyal void moths. Now I wonder if the bucket of these moths is different or is in the same bucket of the 2 that you get from this, right? I wonder. I don't know. But do that, Mothkeeper's Wraps, Veritas, and then you do a little void thing we looked at before, a little void melee, a little slice and dice. Come on. You're welcome. From a warlock, you're welcome. Oh, Lucky Pants, you've always been pretty good, but with so many powerful hand cannons, it's become hard to justify the incredible magnitude of the damage bonus versus bosses. Making some targeted adjustments to hand cannons that we had considered outliers, as well as pushing Lucky Pants into a more non-bossing combat role for it to live on sustainably in perpetuity. This is a fancy way of saying that we don't want to live in a Lucky Pants meta forever. You know what other meta we don't want to live in forever? Smoke bombs. Increase Ariana's Vow maximum damage bonus to 4.5 times. Decrease Uncivil Discourse's maximum damage bonus to 2.5. Reduce Lucky Pants bonus damage versus bosses by 33%. Titan Exotics. Hollowfire Heart. Hollowfire has been a very simple exotic for a long time, offering clear-cut benefits. However, its effects are largely vestigial of Destiny 2's first year. To bring it into the modern sandbox, it now leans deep into the I am a mobile sunspot, offering the effects of Soul Invictus Sunspot and then some while roaming and defeating enemies with your abilities. Reworked effect. While your solar grenade is charged, ability final blows cure you and give you stacks of Sunfire Furnace. While Sunfire Furnace is active, grenade and shield burst, final blows trigger and ignition. Each stack increases grenade regeneration, class ability regeneration, and super oh my god. Upon exiting your super, all stacks are converted into holy crap. Decrease ability regen bonus from 3.5 to 2.5. But still, though, Yo. Solar Titans, though? Alright. Pyrogale Gauntlets. As part of re-examining super damage exotics, we wanted to bring up Pyrogale Gauntlets. However, it is already quite a competitive option with Roaring Flames. Because of this, we have instead improved its ability to find its mark as well as its damage ever so slightly to reduce the necessity for Roaring Flames times 3. Slightly increase the Super Cyclone Scorch per tick, increase Super Cyclone Explosion by damage by 10%, okay? Increase Super Cyclone Tracking by approximately 40%, yes. It should be remarkably easier to get the projectiles to track targets at range. Nice. Stoicism, Spirit of Star Eater. In comparing super damage, we believe that it's safe in the modern super damage climate to increase Spirit of the Star Eater's benefit for Twilight Arsenal back to its former values. Increase Spirit of Star Eater's benefit for Twilight Arsenal from 25 to 50%. Wow. Severance and Closure. We figured it was high time to give Severance and Closure some of its potency while also helping it bind into the few kinetic aligned keywords we use. Improve occlusion on the detonation, making it easier to hit with. Remove the effect that prevents combatants from being hit by multiple shockwaves in a short period of time. Enemies hit by the shockwave are disoriented for a short time. All right. Praxic Vestments. The Praxic Vestments has a cool fantasy, but its tuning at Renegade's launch prevented it from being the exciting new option that we wanted it to be. In this release, we're giving it a significant tune-up by improving its value, uptime, and usability. Increase melee attack damage. Increased melee attack damage by 500%. Big slam. Increased jetpack fuel gain per weapon kill in PvE from 10 to 20%. That's the jetpack shit? Yeah. Yeah, it needed that. Okay. Increased jetpack fuel gain per powered melee kills from 35 to 50%. Updated. Damn. Man. Just Titans flying in the sky. Improves jetpack flight experience. Oh wait, updated exotic perk to recognize knockout kills as powered melee kills. For improving the jet flight experience. Decrease the wind-up time for maximum flight duration from 0.8 to 0.5 seconds. Remove the behavior that causes jetpack flight to end early when contact is detected with the floor or a wall. Fix the bug that causes jetpack kick to target dead enemies, ending flight early. Updated camera to better convey your speed. This sounds really fun. It might be time to get back and check out that freaking backpack. No backup plans. Long have players asked to have no backup plans work on non-void to go with the exotic's visuals shifting to match. We are happy to say now it does. Hell yeah. It operates a bit differently than it used to, but it still leans into aggressive close-range play built around your defensive buffs. Additionally, we've opened up the triggers to melees as well as shotguns to allow cleanup punches to also keep the engine going. Now, triggers and benefits off of both shotgun and melee final blows. Shotgun and melee final blows now start health regeneration instead of granting void overshield. Shotgun or melee final blows extend the timer of any active defense buffs on you. Oh, okay. This includes void overshield, restoration, amplified frost armor, and woven mail. Will partially heal void overshield upon activation of this extension if the player has one. The shotgun damage bonus is now active when you have any of the above noted defensive debuffs, as well as also buffing melee damage. Wow. That's going to be interesting. I wonder how this is going to play in the Crucible now. Cadmus Ridge Lancecap. Lancecap has struggled to find a niche since its release. We've made some adjustments to it that open up its trigger conditions a bit and add more value into leaning into other stasis build elements. Now, also can spawn stasis lances with rapid stasis weapon damage and final blows even when not behind their rally barricade. Okay. Now grants bonus stasis lance damage based on your current stacks of frost armor. That's pretty dope. Point Contact Cannon Brace. Point Contact has routinely been at its best when you're just tap firing Thunderclap instead of charging it, which neglects the awesome fantasy of the ability. So, we're making a couple of changes targeted at making the user experience of charging Thunderclap with Point Contact better, which of course means more lightning. Activating Thunderclap also releases lightning strikes as you start winding up the punch. Lightning strike damage now scales further based on how long Thunderclap is charged for, up to 2 times. This stacks with the bonus damage from casting while amplified. Wow. Damn. Rework melee regen from lightning strike kills to compensate for the new wave of bolts on charge up. No longer target tiered. Flat amount has been increased to compensate. Should see larger returns on average. Wow. Helm of Saint 14. The current output of Helms of Saint 14's Disorient and PvE is completely overshadowed by Weapons of Light, and alongside the rework to Ward of Dawn, we also found that the Disorient posed concerns in PvP. We took the opportunity to give this exotic a complete facelift that integrates it with the ward changes, provides a more appropriate replacement to the Disorient, and bolsters the fantasy of being Saint 14, inspired by his infinite bubbles from old story missions. Unchanged, Weapons of Light continues to persist for the wearer and for allies upon leaving your Ward of Dawn. Added new VFX to Ward of Dawn to indicate if it will provide Weapons of Light upon leaving. Okay. Remove. No longer disorients enemies within your Ward of Dawn or upon blocking with Sentinel Shield. Interesting. New functionality. While Weapons of Light is active, kills or sustain damage to any source grant stacks of the Saints. And under the same circumstances, voiding kinetic damage sources will also suppress in a radius around the victim. Kinetic? Picking up your Ward of Dawn consumes all accrued stacks of the Saints and then extends your ward's duration based on how many stacks were consumed. Helm of Saint 14 synergy with a specific exotic weapon has also been adjusted. Interesting. AC/DC feedback. Feedback fence has been a recurring point of feedback in the Crucible, even when not charged up. Yeah. Glaive and AC/DC feedback fence. Y'all are mad annoying. This should help. No longer provides any melee damage resist versus players. Suckers. Blastwave Striders. With many changes coming to the base stasis kit, we look back on how our dedicated stasis exotics were performing and saw spots that improved their performance, consistency, and potency of Blastwave Striders all in one fell swoop. This should help shift it from a highly situational tool to an on-demand stasis explosion for aggressive behemoth playstyles. Adjusted the projectile to mirror that of the Renegade Behemoth's Walker's stasis detonation. Wow. Decreased defeats to charge meter. Okay, cool. Increased tracking strength of stasis shrapnel on detonation. Should more effectively track frozen targets. Replace sliding with on-shiver strike hits as an activator. Ooh. Fix an issue where multiple kills on the same frame wouldn't increment the perk buildup. All right. Now it's time for my favorite subclass, Warlocks. Nezarec Sin. For a lot of players, Nezarec Sin has been a solid workhorse exotic when all else fails to suffice. We didn't want to modify this use case, but if we did see an opportunity to tie it into the new Voidwalker aspect, tie the way the final god of pain, it's your turn to devour your enemy's fear. Who knows? Maybe he's still listening. Yeah. Damn. We won't know. We won't know if Nezarec is still listening because we won't get any more Destiny. New effect. Targets damaged by Soul Siphon are suppressed. Defeating suppressed targets with Soul Siphon grants an additional 1.5 seconds to Abyssal Extractors. Nice. Meaty Doxia. In our super damage exotic audit, we found a couple of issues in how Meaty Doxia was dealing its bonus damage when it was leading to lower values than expected. Increase suspending burst damage from Super Combine by roughly 22%. This makes it equal to a Curious Thunder Crash have added. Does it though? Does it? Y'all said that last time with some of the strand stuff for Warlocks. I'm just saying. Skull of Dire Ahamkara. This Ahamkara Bone Helm is a classic exotic, but that's no reason to let it ossify. Returning energy on super final blows is so 2017. Last year, Voidwalker got a second melee charge and a second grenade charge with Chaos Accelerant. Why not a second cast of a Nova Bomb? This is going to be insane in the Crucible. Better yet, how about we bring back Nova Bomb Lance? Why stop there? Maybe you could detonate your Cataclysm Nova Bomb with Nova Lance for massive boss damage, if you time it right. But you're special, and you can time it right every time, can't you? Oh, player mine. Oh, shit. New effect. After casting a Nova Bomb, you gain a short period during which you can cast a Nova Bomb Lance. Destroying a Cataclysm Nova Bomb with a Nova Lance creates a Nova Vortex alongside the Cataclysm Nova Bomb Seekers. So you can basically get both Nova Bomb effects. Wow. Okay. Unchanged. Super energy on a Nova Bomb final blows and weapon final blows while you have Devour. The additional damage resistance while casting Nova Bomb has been removed from the perk text, but remains as hidden functionality to help the new play pattern sing. Wow. Wow. Definitely want to try this out. Definitely looking forward to that. Crown of Tempest. Crown of Tempest is an exotic that is decently powerful, but rather than demanding to maintain and unexciting to use compared to other options in today's sandbox. Plus, Crown of Tempests on Stormcaller Warlock deserves a bit more thunder, don't you think? Yeah. Increase the duration of conduit tines in PvE from 7 to 10 seconds. Oh, conduction tines, sorry. New effect. While you have at least one stack of conduction tines, Ionic Sentry creates a storm grenade when it is deployed. What? Oh my god. Yeah, I gotta try that out. Mantle of Battle Harmony. Battle Harmony has been left a bit in the dust over the years. The changes here allow it to function even when fighting bosses, as well as give it a nice bonus for actually choosing to use your super instead of holding onto it for bonus damage, or holding onto it for the next activity. Now can trigger its super energy gain or weapon damage bonus on sustained weapon damage in addition to final blows. After casting your super, now gain surges for all elements and weapons matching your super's damage type. Cause detonations when hitting targets for a moderate duration. Wow, that's pretty sick. Astrocyte burst. Because of the natural limitations to blink and the small area of effect of the volatile burst that this exotic grants, it has struggled to see much use. To address these issues, we've added a new air move ability, which should help add some flexibility to link both in and out of combat and expand its ability to apply volatile. Let's go. New effects. While both this helmet and blink are equipped, you can now use your air move input to perform a dark blink horizontally in any direction. This ability has a longer cooldown in Crucible. Damn it. Blinking or dark blinking now grants volatile rounds in addition to the volatile explosion. Wow. So, I'm about to be a whole menace and a half in the Crucible. Because Astrocyte was fun before, especially if you were using Nova Warp. But the new movement option... So you get 2 blinks, wait for a recharge of 2 seconds usually to get both of your blink jumps back. But now you can do a dark blink. I wonder if that takes away... Because with blink, you have 2 jumps that you can use relatively quickly, but then you have to wait roughly 2 seconds for it to recharge. So I wonder if the dark blink takes away one of those blinks, meaning you can blink once and then dark blink in a particular direction, and then you have to wait the 2-second cooldown, as opposed to blinking, and then after using the second blink jump, then doing the dark blink. I wonder. I gotta test that out. Ooh. Dawn Chorus. Dawn Chorus's various benefits didn't quite come together into a strong build, which limited its viability. To address this, we've expanded Scorch benefits to also affect ignitions, which should synergize well with Incinerator Snap and further improve its interaction with Daybreak. Ooh, more booms? Now causes your Scorch to build an even more intense ignition. More booms. Now grants melee energy for dealing ignition damage in addition to Scorch damage. Remove the internal cooldown on energy gains from Scorch damage and return gains to return slightly more energy overall. Now causes Daybreak projectiles to always immediately trigger an ignite. There's going to be a lot of explosions going on in the Crucible. It's going to be hilarious. Nothing Manacles. Scatter Grenades and Nothing Manacles got a bit too much love in Renegade, so we're toning them back a bit. Extra Seekers can no longer chain off themselves, just the initial grenade. Reduce Extra Seekers generated from 4 to 3. Reduce range and lifetime of Extra Seekers. Damn. Fair. Controverse Hold. While it was nice seeing handheld Supernova back in the spotlight again, the value of effort for using it with Controverse was a bit too free. But the smoke bombs, though, Bungie. Smoke bombs. Reduce energy returns when used with Magnetic Grenade handheld Supernova by 15%. This is in addition to fixing the health chunking bug. Boo. Deimos Effusion. Deimos Effusion has been a recurring point of feedback in Crucible, allowing far too easy kills while being completely safe. This should help in reducing that. Increase the time between damage ticks against players from 0.1 to 0.3 seconds. That's all from us for now. Thank you for your continued support and feedback over the years. We hope you enjoy playing this new sandbox as much as we have internally, and we're excited to get all of this in your hands on June 9th. Love, the Destiny 2 gameplay game. So, a lot, and this is just one article. Man, well, I did say this was going to be a thick old video. So, man, with that, we're going to go ahead into the This Week in Bungie, or This Week in Destiny, or the TWID, which is another thick old article. Not as thick, I will say, but still thick. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into This Week in Destiny. June 4th, Destiny 2 community team. This Week in Destiny, we revealed the latest details about the Monument of Triumph, the upcoming update coming next week. After talking about weapons, the artifact, PvP, and much more, early this morning we shared all you need to know about abilities and armor. We have one last batch of news coming right away below. Let's do this. Monument of Triumph trailer, Dev Insight articles. Have you read them? We have. I'll look at some Monument of Triumph rewards, Bungie Foundation latest update, one more Bungie rewards update, 2 new emblems for you. Monument of Triumph arrives June 9th. Earlier this morning, we released our Monument of Triumph trailer. As always, the team went hard showcasing upcoming abilities, armor sets, weapons, Sparrow, Racing League, Heavy Metal, and so much more. It's hard to squeeze everything, and this patch has to offer in a short video, but we feel this is a pretty good attempt. If you haven't seen it, check it out below. All right, let's go ahead and actually take a look at this trailer.
Thank you, Guardian. Because of you, what was unraveling is suddenly stabilizing. Earth may yet heal, and that's something worth celebrating.
Kitty.
May this time be a moment of reflection.
A lot of dope armor.
What came before, reassessing our present, and readying ourselves for the future. The Traveler has nestled above the last city once again.
Okay, so the stasis or strand grenade got distortions, knockout. Ooh, brought back Galaron. Callus. Spire of Sar? Is that what that was? There's the Titan aspect, the shield, Hunter melee. See it? Give me your souls. Yes. Woo! And SRL, let's go.
It's time, Guardian. Crush them.
I keep forgetting that they're adding SRL into this.
Know that you decide
Some of the armor looks sick.
what your future holds.
Man. So sick. So sick. In the long list of trailers, seasonal previews, and patch videos, this will be one of our favorites for years to come. We've been seeing many of you sharing older videos around social media, reminiscing about your favorite moments. Sate 14 headbutting a Vex, Savathun making her grand entrance, the introduction of Lodi, shouts to Lodi, and many more. Feel free to tag us out there with your favorite trailer moments. We'd love to hear from you in our final weekend before Monument of Triumph launches. Read our latest Dev Insight articles. After talking about every other part of the Destiny sandbox, it's high time we dive into abilities and armor. Our third and last Dev Insights article covering the many and profound changes coming with the Monument of Triumph went live earlier today, which we just checked out. We suggest you give it a proper read before you continue with this TWID. If you somehow have not read about the return of the Director or our weapons, artifact, and focusing preview, do that too. We have videos on those articles, so go ahead and check those out. Monument of Triumph rewards. Monument of Triumph is jam-packed with rewards, some new, some old but unreleased, and some released but until now unobtainable. As the final live service update for Destiny 2, we want to hold nothing back. Ah, man. Here's some highlights of what you can expect. Return of the previously limited time Chatterite, Super Black, Griffin, and All-Star Vector Skimmer. Oh, snap. 12 armor ornament sets per class. This is beyond the armor updates to other vendors around the tower. New universal helmet ornaments, including a new flaming helmet, the Einherjar coronet, the first earnable hollow chip, the return of exotic faction ornaments, weapon ornament for Turncoat, our new reward pass exotic hand cannon. Oh, Turncoat. Fafnir and heir apparent exotic weapons, a selection of endlessly purchasable engrams containing tiered weapons from the Lawless and Reclamation seasons, tiered weapons from the Pinnacle Ops, Crucible, and Fireteam Ops playlists, tiered weapons from the Dawning, Festival of the Lost, and Guardian Games events, tiered weapons and armor from the Solstice. Oh man, what was wasn't there a spring event one time? Oh man, I forgot the name of it. I wonder if that's some of the other. what was it? It was like the verdant. It had a specific armor set. It was like verdant green or something like that armor set. Complete triumphs spend legendary marks. Nestled in the tower courtyard behind the newly erected monument, there are 4 plaques celebrating the Guardian tenants. Interacting with these plaques opens different vendors where you may purchase rewards in exchange for a new currency. Legendary marks are back. After inspecting the courtyard monument, make your first purchase on the Tenet of Bravery to unlock all the other Tenet vendors. Legendary marks are earned upon completing any triumph from Moment of Triumph. These can be conveniently located by interacting with the View Triumphs button on these vendor screens. These triumphs can also be accessed through the Journey tab. There's even a new View Featured shortcut to quickly open directly to the Monument of Triumph category from the Triumphs button on the Journey screen. Nice. Sorry, y'all. Recovering from allergies. Records of the Guardian's achievement. Active triumphs claimed. Wow. Active triumph score. Lifetime triumph score. That's pretty dope. Finding the rewards you want. There's so much to earn. Here's a breakdown of where you can find different types of rewards. All vendors. A selection of armor ornament sets. Ghost, ship, and sparrow accessory sets. The Tenet of Bravery. New skimmer. New universal helmet ornament. Fafnir, heir apparent, exotic weapons. All engrams and general emblems. All right, so here we have one of the Tenet of Braveries, the vendor. So here, you get a whole bunch of different types of exotics or ornaments, but also engrams. Okay, and we got some different ornaments for different exotics there and vehicles. All right, so a lot of the cosmetic stuff. Tenet of Devotion, a selection of SRL cosmetics, the Griffin and All-Star Vector Skimmer, general emotes. All right. So at this Tenet, you get these rewards. This is if this is the SRL set, that's pretty sick, right? And you got the skimmer there. Just taking a look to see if there's anything in particular that your boy might want to cop. All right, and you got a new shader there. All right. Next up, we have the Tenet of Sacrifice, new universal helmet ornament, super black shader, earnable hollow chip, general finishers, ghosts, and ships. All right, so we got not houseless. We got a Vex, not a Vex, a Fallen ornament set there. It's pretty sick. Outlaw Rider. Oh, is that the Kingdom Hearts one with the zippers and the belts? All right. We got different ghosts here. All right, so some cool stuff. It's pretty sick. And the final, Tenet of Death. Iron Jar Coronet Universal Helmet Ornament. Okay. Some random exotic armor ornaments, maybe you'll recognize them. A selection of raid and dungeon related cosmetics, Chatter White Shader, general shaders, and transmat effects. All right. Little Knucklehead Radar ornament there. Pilgrim Guard, Ever Sunrise. That's a dope set. The new Flaming Helmet. These, Jesus, these emblems. Oh my God. A little shader and ghost. All right, cool. Special rewards require special challenges. While the majority of rewards can be purchased as soon as the required number of legendary marks are earned, some rewards will ask you to complete specific triumphs or sets of triumphs, or to be able to purchase them for legendary marks. For example, Chatterwhite. Complete a weekly deep site quest, which is offered from Hawthorne in the Tower Bazaar for the Vault of Glass raid. The Iron Jar Coronet. Complete 8 triumphs in the Teamwork raid challenges category. Damn. Interesting. Immortal Legend armor set. Obtain the Immortal title. Oh, this is that super cool looking armor set. Look at the cross. So sick. Yo, Titan. Ugh. There's the Iron Jar helmet. Okay. Wow. All right. Bungie Foundation, now and forever. Guardians, over the years, you've helped turn compassion into action and shown what's possible when our community comes together for those in need. Today, we want to take a moment to assure you of the future of the Bungie Foundation and properly thank you for the incredible support Guardians have given the Foundation since Destiny's launch. Our team remains committed to our mission to providing joy and relief to kids and communities who need it most. From Bungie's very first fundraising campaign in response to Hurricane Katrina during the days of Halo, through all the incredible years in Destiny and now what comes next, our success and ability to change the world has been because of the compassion and generosity of you, our community. Since our very first activation on Destiny 1 with the Pride of Napalm emblem 11 years ago, you helped us raise more than $32 million to support our Little Lights program, inclusion, diversity, and equity, ID&E initiatives, and humanitarian causes. We are eternally grateful for your awe-inspiring generosity, kindness, and willingness to join us to make the world a better place. thank you. We will continue showing up for causes that need us, and though the way we fundraise may look different, we are just as determined to make a dent in the universe as we ever have been. As always, this will be a community-led effort, and we will continue to collaborate with light keepers across the world to help us shape what this next chapter looks like. We'll have more details to share soon on what's ahead. Until then, we'll see you Starside. Celebrate Pride Month. Join the Bungie Foundation and the Pride at Bungie and Trans at Bungie Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Associations in celebrating Pride Month with some classic and brand new cosmetics in Destiny 2. New for this year is the Vivid Spectrum holochip available in the Eververse, starting with the launch of the Monument of Triumph on June 9th to June 23rd. Eververse also has the Pride Shader Pack back in stock now until June 23rd, and the Infinite Prismatic Emblem is available for donation via Tiltify. So which one is that? Okay, so that I'm okay, cool. So if you do want that particular album, you can go to Tiltify for that. Bunch of rewards in store, and on Monument of Triumph, those who unlock the Immortal title will be eligible to purchase the t-shirt. All right, so you got to unlock the Immortal title. I want to know how you do that. We also decided to bring you a free digital Bungie reward with the Destiny 2 Monument of Triumph Original Soundtrack Digital Edition. Immerse yourself with the music of Destiny 2 with over an hour of amazing tunes, the perfect soundtrack for players to track their journey to Immortal. All right. We are also excited to share that we will be launching a Sparrow Racing League jacket later in June for Guardians who want to look their best while taking first place. More details coming soon on this exciting merch drop. Okay. Got some actual swag. For returners and old lights, we have something extra nice ready for every player that logs in to play Monument of Triumph. In addition to 2 bright engrams and 50 legendary marks, you'll also receive the Toast to the Monument emblem below when you return starting June 9th. Claim them for the special deliveries from the special deliveries kiosk in the tower located between Banshee and Rahul. All right. So nice little emblem with all the, I want to say all the cast, but or if not the majority of the cast of the story in Destiny 2. Work in progress emblem. Okay. Meanwhile, our most veteran players, for those who have played all that Destiny 2 had to offer from the Red War campaign to Renegades, we have one more set of rewards to share. The Unk emblem shown below and a unique emote Elemental Key. So this is the emblem that you get if you have logged in, I believe, to every single expansion that Destiny 2 has had over the course of the lifetime of the game, I think is how you get this emblem. After Monument of Triumph launches, the Old Lights emblem, or the Unk emblem, will be awarded to any player whose account recorded any amount of playtime in each of Destiny 2's expansions years, including Destiny 2, September 2017 to September 2018, Forsaken, September 2018 to September 2019, Shadowkeep, October 2019 to November 2020, Beyond Light, November 2020 to February 2022, Witch Queen from February 2022 to February 2023, Lightfall, February 2023 to June 2024, Final Shape, June 2024 to July 2025, and the Year of Prophecy, July 15th, 2025 to June 9th, 2026. So if you've logged in each and every single within this time frame of all these different time frames for the different expansions, you should be able to get it. This emblem will be released during our launch window. We don't have a specific time, but we'll be sure to let you know when it is live. Player support report. Okay. Flashing trial engrams on Monument of Triumph goes live on June 9th. We're resetting all engrams available as rank rewards at vendors, but funny thing, the only vendor at this time that still rewards engrams and ranks up is Saint 14, the Trials of Osiris vendor. So, in other words, this is a general warning for players who go visit Saint 14 and cash in all the engrams he may be holding for you. He will toss everything off the hanger for real. Oh snap! So you better go get them engrams decrypted. We got Artist of the Week. Sick. All right, and here we are at the end, and the TWID before Monument of Triumph launches is now complete. Just a few more days before you can all start experiencing everything this update has to offer. Take your time to experiment and try new things, and don't hesitate to just make weird mixes here and there of weapons and armor that you've never used, and who knows, it could be the next meta. Publishing 3 Dev Insight articles along with their accompanying TWIDs was a rough task. We needed more than 29,000 words to properly show you all why this update was a really big deal and show how much work went into updating so many parts of Destiny 2. After checking all the love and excitement you poured all over social media and video platforms in the last 2 weeks, it seems we achieved our goals. What are you trying to say? Is there hope, Bungie? The only thing that remains is to load into Destiny 2 and play Monument of Triumph on Tuesday. we'll be there with you. Throw us an emote if you see us. We'll dance with you, cheer at you, and hand out free hugs. Find us at the Tower on June 9th, the Destiny 2 community team. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the articles for this week in Destiny. We had the TWID, and then before the TWID, we had the Dev Insight, the final Dev Insight article. So a lot of good stuff in both these articles. February 9th is going to be absolutely sick. I can't wait to see, like, actually be able to play all the changes. And yeah, it's the final content update for Destiny 2. We are getting to the end, and kind of sad that I started making Destiny videos now. I kind of wish I would have done it before, but if there's absolutely any hope for Destiny 3, you guys, you gotta log in on June 9th. I don't know. To be completely honest, I don't think that the likelihood is high that we might get a Destiny 3, at least anytime soon. But there's been so much noise, especially over the past few events with Summer Games Fest and the Sony State of Play. There's definitely a want for a Destiny 3, or for me personally, even just to continue Destiny 2 and finish up the Fate Saga at the very least. I think I would be okay with that if we didn't get a Destiny 3. But if there's any hope for any of that, please, ladies and gentlemen, Guardians of all ages, log in on June 9th so we can show Sony that we absolutely want a Destiny 3 and we want this universe and this IP to continue. So I might do a stream that day. We might do just a live stream of the patch notes for the Monument of Triumph, and I might actually stream the Monument of Triumph as well. Just might go through the tower, maybe do some Crucible with the homies. We'll see. But yes, that is going to be it for this article and for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around to this point, like, comment, and subscribe. Show some love to your boy, please. Every little bit helps. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, tell somebody that you care about, that you love them. Because tomorrow ain't guaranteed, but today can be hype. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. It's time for your boy to go. Peace!